So apparently the Goju rings can turn you evil. Or at least that's what this episode is trying to imply, so stay tuned. We're of course talking about episode 13, and it starts off with Haoru munching on a corn dog and chatting with Ryugi about being careful about what he spends his money on. Of course, he's bouncing from job to job, and he's got a bunch of debts to pay off. This random old guy then beefs Haoru for being so poorly mannered, eating and walking at the same time, because apparently that's poor manners. Or I guess maybe in Japan it is. Is that poor manners anybody else? I'd be eating on the go all the time. This prompts a possession from a no one, creating manners number 1. He enchants Haoru with a big chain that gets heavier every single time he sort of commits a bad manner. All of a sudden we hear a whistle and they all end up frozen, and that is when Universe Warrior Red Racer shows up. First blood. No, not him, although he's a king. It's actually a girl who refers to Ryugi as Master Ryugi, and he clearly seems to know who she is, or at least suspect who she is. She transforms back, identifying herself as the Bakugami family's super maid, also known as Shoko. Ryugi then tells Haoru that he should run, and what? I was actually giggling at this. You know, have you guys seen Transformers 1? Did anybody watch that movie? There's a couple of gags like that in it. It's kind of funny. So Shoko was the maid, or is the maid, for Ryugi's family, who he clearly wants no part of. And we know from a previous episode that he has a bit of a foul relationship with his dad. And all the information we have on him is that he's a doctor. So hopefully this episode will find out a little bit more. Ryugi returns to the cafe and Shoko is already there waiting for him. This is where she tells him she will be taking him home because he is in line to be the next genius surgeon of the family. So not only is Ryugi's dad a doctor, but clearly the whole family is in some degree, and he's next in line. And I'll keep the family minted, I suppose. And I do feel like this is beginning to indicate why Ryugi doesn't speak to his dad, or clearly his family for that matter. I mean, they all clearly want him to be a surgeon. This motherfucker ain't a surgeon. Shoko also gives some intel on her universe ring, saying that it's a great way of ensuring people's safety, which is what ties in with her wanting to preserve the safety of Ryugi. Preserve the safety? Is that a phrase? Am I making words up? And whilst to my knowledge Car Ranger is a sillier sort of comedy series, it makes sense that the Car Ranger is the one who cares about safety. I mean, it's kind of like the road safety PSAs we got at the end of Boom Boom Joe when that show was airing. However, Ryugi says that he follows no one but Tiger Sword, and his dad can stick it with the sun don't shine. Meanwhile, manners number 1 is adding chains to everyone who he deems to have bad manners, prompting Ryugi to face him 1v1. The battlers then both showing off their good manners, with Haoru trying to follow them and do his best, but he's ultimately failing and he just kept getting weighed down by the chain. We then cut back to Buraiden Castle and Bouquet is still simping over her shrine of Rikuo. She still hasn't worked out that he is Goju Leon, but Kwon does know, but he doesn't tell her straight away. He kind of teases it a bit. He's like, yeah, you guys would really be an amazing couple. She's gotta find out soon, and I think it's just gonna rage all hellfire in her. Shining Knife and Sweet Cake then barge in, excited to say that they've got a ring by themselves, and it is the ring for Gingaman. Another poor universe ring wielding soul killed off screen without any story. It's fine. We don't need in-depth characters for each one of these rings, but we're not even halfway through the series yet, and we've got a lot of rings. What twists are coming ahead if we've already got this many rings so early into the show, I wonder. A popular theory would of course be more rings, like 6th Ranger rings, or Blue Ranger, Yellow Ranger, Pink Ranger, Black Ranger rings, and not just Red Rangers. I personally think for whatever reason they're going to lose some rings and they're going to have to gather them again. But I mean, who knows at this point? The twists and turns this show's been thrown at us has been crazy so far anyway. And just before I continue, I just want to let you guys know that if you want to see videos like this early, and in general you're enjoying the content and want to support it, then you can do so over on the channel's Patreon. It's just £3 a month, which is less than the price of a meal deal or like a fancy coffee. And you get early access, you get some exclusive stuff, you get ad-free viewing, and you get your names shouted out at the end of the videos. But of course, if you can't do that, then subscribing, liking the video, sharing, it does just as much good for the channel. It's also occurred to me as well that obviously the bad guys are all collecting the rings for Tegajun so that she can have a wish of being married. But I don't think it's gonna go down that easy. Surely at some point one of them betrays Tegajun in order for them to collect the rings so they can make their wish. Like, I'm just not buying it. But again, it's only episode 13. You think you know a series, you know what I mean? Back with Ryugi, Shuka intervenes once more, stating her role to keep Ryugi safe. She henshins and shows the no one how it's done. And can we also just take a moment to appreciate that after 13 episodes, finally, we've seen another girl become a ranger. I know there are some seasons where we only get one girl per team, but in a show where we're getting multiple past Red Rangers show up as well, I'm just glad we finally got some representation for them, and it better not be the last. This motherfucker then says she fights like she's got no manners and tries to weigh her down. Who's calling the shots at this point? What are we working with? Those are street rules, surely. Those are prison rules. You can't be doing that. So of course Ryugi gets involved in potentially one of the coolest henchmen henshin sequences of the show so far. Maybe not in terms of scale, but just style. They start fighting and the no one trips over Hoeru, you know, the guy who's on the floor and can barely move because of how much he's being weighed down. Then he beefs Hoeru for being in the way. Now I know this character isn't real. I know there's some talented writers who wrote this character. Well, guess what? They've done a good job of pissing me off because every no one monster we've had so far has had some sort of like superiority in a sense. Like they're the bad guys, but they think they're right and they're quite fair about it. Especially Fire Candle. The fact that he only wants to fight Hoeru when it's a noble fight and like a fair fight. This guy's just a joke. Come on. Hoeru then overpowers the weight, transforming into Goju Wolf, and he uses the weight of the chains to attack the no one and break the chains.
I use the stones to destroy the stones.
Shit then hits the fan as an Ari mecha appears and our favourite cake couple. The rest of the team then show up in style. Rikuo and Sumino henshin and Kinjiro head straight for Tiger Sword Green. Also, Rikuo and Sumino are giving mother and father this episode. They're looking good. Fair play, I'm here for it. Sumino absolutely solos Shining Knife and Mr. Sweetcake, gaining the Gingaman ring. It wasn't in their hands for very long, admittedly, but at least it's on the side of the good guys now. Followed by Rikuo, who uses the Gao Ranger ring that he claimed last episode. If you haven't seen last episode, then I did a video all about it. I recommend. First of all, these couple of frames of Goju Leon turning into Gao Red is pretty sick. I mean, seeing the helmet, albeit floating on top of the body before the sort of helmet transitions over the top of it, I think look pretty cool. And he then whips out the evil crushing 100 Beast sword, aka the combination mega weapon of all the Gao Ranger weapons together. How he can do this without any of the other Ranger colors around, I don't know. I guess he just can. We didn't see Tyranno Ranger do it, but also he did. We get the mechas, and the other Rangers aren't around for the individual mechas, so I guess it's fine. Gerudo then rocks up in style and once again shows off the fact that he can't be outnumbered. Outmatched? Maybe, but never outnumbered. Meanwhile, in Tiger Sword Green, Kinjiro loses his shit and just crashes out completely. Apparently the Ari is kind of talking to him because the Ari knows he's older. They're talking to him like a bit of a baby. Like, you know, oh, are you okay, old man? Bro doesn't chill. Crashes out, and in one swoop, just wham, mecha, gone. Manners number one then breaks his etiquette, ascending to, I guess, heaven? I mean, he's in a fight with Ryugi the entire time, and he's just like, look, you're looking down on people. You've got no manners, you've got no respect. And they have this little moment together before Ryugi is then, all right, and now it's time to take that old man from you, smack you up. And I'd like to think that old man has learned a bit of a lesson as well. Maybe he should be a bit more polite and just, you know, respect other people. Shuka shows up once more, demanding Ryugi return home. He insists that he won't be returning, and then something changes. Shuka's want for his safety takes over completely, and her eyes, along with her ring, starts glowing purple. She then sort of slices through him, causing him to unhenshin or henshin back, and she stood there with like this jacket. And it comes up on screen saying reckless driving red racer, with what I'm sure is the little three-wheeler melody from Boon Boonja. I could be wrong, maybe this is a reference to the sort of Boon Champion jackets, or maybe that little jingle is just something related to like vehicles and cars and racing in Japan. I'm not too familiar on that, but I know I recognize it from Boon Boonja. It does seem that next episode we are going to get some more details on Ryugi's past and his upbringing, and overall why this maid is now evil, it seems. And I wonder if maybe by the end of next episode they're going to sort of defeat her and gain the Car Ranger ring, or if she's going to continue as an evil ranger, because they've all been fighting each other, but none of them have really been evil. Like, that's the name of the game. They've got to all fight each other to get the rings. She's tripping. She's like evil. So I don't know. And we're also getting Live Man and Hurricaneja, or at least their Universe Warriors next episode. And Hurricaneja, I mean, I love Ninja Storm, so I'm there for that suit. And the Live Man suits are some of the best suits in all of Sentai. I mean, me and Tanasha even ranked them together, and Live Man came out on top. I mean, that was peak. I really love this episode. I think these episodes are getting better and better and better. Some are definitely more filler than others. Some don't take as much precedent. I'm glad we're finally getting some Ryugi story. It does feel like for these 13 episodes, he's had a little bit of like info and character development sprinkled in, but nothing's really happened with him. So I'm glad that we've met this maid, that we've met Shuka, and that we now get to learn about his backstory. Maybe see him become a bit more of a character. Maybe he's going to get some more rings for himself. Surely he gets the Car Ranger ring eventually when that comes to be, but who knows. If you're not fully caught up with Gozyuger and you want to see a recap of the entirety of the first round, then click the video in the end card. Huge thank you and shout out to Sarah Jane, our Super Dino Mode Patreon.